What was a time someone assumed something about you that was completely wrong? I was at a dinner party and people kept offering me drinks that I continued to decline. Eventually one woman's eyes lit up as she looked between me and my husband, and then she asked, "Oh my gosh, are you pregnant?" Everyone around us got quiet and I laughed and said, "No. I have epilepsy." I was handed no more glasses of wine after that. This happened to me last night. My girlfriend and I are in a different part of the state visiting her parents. She gets 7 missed calls and voicemail from the state police. We call back. A wanted man fitting my description is staying in a hotel of the same type, in our same room number. My girlfriend registered the room under her name, so the cops assumed she was shacked up with this guy and we were trying to give them the slip. We go back to the hotel that night. She goes upstairs while I have a cigarette out front. I see the woman at the front desk walk out into the lobby, recognize me, stop dead and immediately turn around. I text my girlfriend. They totally think I'm that guy. To be fair, I have a big beard and I'm wearing black head to toe, including a black leather jacket. I stand out in this part of the state. Sure enough, not 5 minutes later there's a knock on the hotel room door. I knew it was a state trooper before I opened the door. He asks me questions, hand on his gun, foot in the door, clearly assuming I'm this guy. I show him my ID. He writes down the information and asks me questions and writes down the answers. He keeps saying, "You really do look just like the guy we're looking for. Sure you're not him?" Quote. When I tell him I live in a different part of the state, and prove it by reciting the address on the ID, he stops writing, looks at me and says, "So you're just visiting for a few days? Happen to be staying in this type of hotel, in this room, and fit this guy's exact description?" Quote. I say, "Yeah, I don't know what to tell you." He gives me back my ID, and on his way down the hall, turns and looks back at me and says, "Promise you're not him?" Quote. Apparently, they really thought they had their man. I started at a new high school my junior year. For starters, I looked like a hippie. I have very long wavy hair and dressed pretty boyish. Everyone, including the school administrators, nuns, assumed I was a drug dealer of sorts. I had never even seen weed or any drug at that point. I got randomly chosen for our school's monthly drug tests several months in a row, and periodically thereafter, people constantly asked me for hookups or where to find hookups. On the plus side, the other hippie types gravitated and became some lifelong friends of mine, though their proximity to me was still suspicious at the time. Had a friend I was crushing on that I felt liked me too. We were talking online one day and he had to go to work. He says, "I'll BBL and then get to spend more time with my favorite Asian." I asked, "Who's that?" Quote. For as long as I knew him, he thought I was Asian. Once he found out I wasn't, he ghosted me. ETA. Just to say, I'm Hispanic American. Lol. Enough PPL were wondering. I figured it was a good enough reason to add it here. My ex-wife was convinced I had another family in another state, simply because she heard a kid's voice in the background when I was traveling for work and sitting in a restaurant once. During divorce depositions, I once spent a full day being questioned, and half the questions were slightly different wordings of, "So you have another family, child, spouse, kid, dependent, etc." A lot of people think I'm 18 or 19 and treat me like a kid. I'm almost 26. It happens at work a lot and it can be annoying. Also, this is more recent, but I just got a new car and people always ask if my parents bought it for me. Understandable, but no, I worked hard for it. Anytime someone assumes I don't speak Spanish because I'm a red-headed güero, I understand everything you're saying about me. Ruben. E. Güero. Not güero or güero. To all the helpy helpertons out there, I said I speak Spanish. Not that I'm literate in either the grammar or spelling. Also, I speak Southern California Kitchen Spanish and not proper Castilian. It's the difference between the Queen's English and how Boomhauer speaks. Around the holidays, my students often wish me Happy Hanukkah. The exchange usually follows this pattern. Student: Happy Hanukkah. Professor: Me: thanks. Happy Hanukkah. Student: Oh, I'm not Jewish. Me: Neither am I, but thanks for the sentiment. Happy holidays. I'm a college teacher in a Brooklyn school, so a lot of my students simply assume I'm Jewish. A bloke from Scotland thought I was Canadian rather than naturalized Canadian, and thought the Russian accent was how Canadians speak. Lol. I live in a very Hispanic, Latino area, and one woman heard me speak English and yelled at me for not speaking Spanish, calling me a traitor to my ancestors and bringing shame to my past family history in Mexico and Puerto Rico. Imagine her surprise when I told her I was Arab and Middle Eastern. Still felt guilty for not knowing Spanish for some reason. LMAO. My mill assumed I couldn't cook, even though I've been cooking my entire life and enjoy doing it. She always insisted that we go out to eat when they visited, to the extent that she would ruin our family plans because she was that adamant about not eating at our house. Until one time, after about 3 years of being together, my husband refused to eat out and insisted that I cook. After eating, she turned to my husband in surprise and said, "Wow, this is really good. I didn't know she could cook like this." My husband looked her dead in the eyes and said, "That's because you never gave her a chance and she's a better cook than you." Bit of context for this one. I'm a dude, and for my last 2 years of high school, I attended an all-girls school. In my region, after your 5 years of high school is up, you can do 2 extra years called sixth form in order to take the Cape Caribbean Advanced Proficiency exam. So the school would take in one boy a year for sixth form. I was the second boy they ever took. So naturally, some weird rumors were spread about me. One day while I went to the IT lab to grab something, a teacher pulled me aside. I was a bit worried because I hadn't done anything. What follows is a very uncomfortable conversation where I learn there's a rumor that I said I don't like black girls. I tell her that I've never said that, and that was pretty much the end of that conversation. One of the weirdest conversations I've ever had. That I am clever because I like to read and wear glasses. Then they see my grades and are really surprised. One time in Japan, I asked an old lady for directions in Japanese. I was still a beginner, but I tried my best to speak in their language rather than asking stuff in English. So this lady assumed I spoke very good Japanese and started chatting. I tried telling her I couldn't understand, and everyone else on the bus was trying to hide their laughter. The conversation went on for 10 minutes and I still have no idea what she was saying. She was very nice though. I sound like a major nerd and often talk to work contacts for months over the phone before meeting them in person. I've lost count of the number of times someone has told me they thought I had glasses, but my vision is perfect. Usually my age. I've had people guess 15, 17, and even 12 once. I'm almost 31. Guess I walked into this one. No, I won't be sharing any pics. People think I am Hispanic. This has happened a few times. Sometimes coming as a direct question and sometimes as people speaking Spanish to me as if I will understand. I don't. I have no idea why. Although I am mixed race. White, Nez Perce. Mostly white. I look white as hell. I am shorter than average for a guy, so maybe that is part of it. But it's weird that because I'm Asian there's no way I could possibly have been born in America. People look at me and think I'm either a marijuana enthusiast or addicted to something. The truth is I've never done anything. I guess I just dress like a skater, and for a lot of my life operating on at most 5 hours of sleep. People assumed as high school I was eating nothing but junk because I was rapidly gaining weight, while my twin wasn't. In truth, I was starving myself because I couldn't figure out why I was gaining weight. It wasn't until my 20s I found out I had a tumor on my thyroid, and that's what caused the weight gain.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.